Welcome to Super Tuesday, presented by Cree. It's the American Conference on ESPN as the UConn Huskies face the USF Bulls from the USF Sundome in Tampa, Florida. Good evening, everybody. Mike Patrick, Glenn Elmore. It's great to have you with us. The defending national champion Huskies come into this game at 7-5 against a really tough schedule. To make things even worse, their best player's been hurt.
And that best player you're talking about is senior Ryan Boatwright, who's been their unquestioned team leader. Now, Boatwright is toughness personified. Had a deep thigh contusion versus Temple on December 31st, but back on January 3rd, 39 minutes, 14 points against Florida, played outstanding defense. This young man leads the American in scoring, and UConn sorely needs him in the game to be a challenge.
USF comes into this game here at home 7-8. Brand new coaching staff, whole lot of new players after 7 guys transferred out of the program.
Well, the one guy who's been a constant has been Corey Allen Jr. And the senior guard, he's one of the more aggressive players in this conference. Highly athletic. He's definitely proficient from beyond the arc, but really, really tough off the bounce. He's the 3rd leading scorer in the conference. He's going to be a challenge tonight for Ryan Boatwright and the UConn Huskies.
All right, Len, what do we watch for in this matchup?
Well, for UConn, Kevin Ollie understands that his team doesn't shoot the ball well, 18% in their losses. They get the fewest offensive rebounds in the conference, and that's where the prime trades come from. So they've got to get better and more second chance opportunities. And if you're South Florida, you've been outscored by 59 points from the free throw line this season. And when the free throws aren't killing you by the opponent, you got to limit your turnovers.
Let's take a look at the starters for both ball clubs. First for Connecticut, Amida Brima has become a true inside force, almost tripling his scoring average from last year. For the Bulls, Chris Perry is in the best shape of his career. Because of it, he has become the 2nd leading rebounder in the entire conference. Bulls in the home white with the green and gold trim. Connecticut in its road blue uniforms.
Both teams are really good at man-to-man, although Orlando Antigua of South Florida told us that they may switch up, play a little more zone. And I would do the same, testing UConn's ability to shoot from outside.
Excellent block by Perry inside, rejected Rodney Purvis, and got the loose ball himself.
Yeah, Chris Perry, another holdover from last year, a guy who decided to stay. Really been a mainstay in the middle.
Lost 24 pounds, changed his diet, worked hard in the weight room. Collins guarded by Boatwright. Pretty good matchup. We'll watch all night long.
Talk about Perry changing his diet. He said he's eating more chicken salad than chicken sandwiches right now. I kind of like that.
Perry, and it's a shot clock violation. Did not get the shot off in time. There is Kevin Ollie now in his 3rd year. Already has a national championship to his credit from a season ago when they got hot at the right time at the end of the year and ran the table. Boatwright, nice move down the lane, kick out to Purvis. He didn't want it. They go back inside. Brima, double teamed, lost it on the way up. Out of bounds with 15 on the shot clock. Orlando Antigua, his 1st year, longtime assistant to John Calipari, both at Memphis and Kentucky, has a tremendous reputation as a recruiter.
Well, he'll be the first to tell you that John Calipari is his major influence as far as coaching. Took a little Jamie Dixon as well, since he was an assistant at Pittsburgh prior to joining Calipari at Memphis.
Rodney Purvis, who has been the best 3-point shooter on this team, misses out of the corner. When he was at NC State 2 years ago, shot 38.5%, shooting 39.5%. as he becomes eligible this year for the Huskies.
Anthony Collins, a pass-first point guard. Very adept at penetration, as we saw.
UConn being very stingy on defense. Brima goes down, lost it inside, gets back up and makes the block. What an effort by Brima.
Outstanding recovery, and Amita Brima is one of those guys. He's a high-energy big man, sometimes to the point of anxiety.
Boatwright called for the charge.
Well, Brima hits the deck right there. He does touch the ball coming off, but it's not called because it didn't have a chance to go in. And he gets up off the floor and blocks the shot. You talk about some outstanding hustle and presence of mind.
Kevin Ollie says he is the hardest worker there is, just constantly trying to get better.
And you could see it in practice today. I mean, he's talking, he's excited about being there.
Perry hit by Facey, and that's the first one on the sophomore from Jamaica. Perry will go to the line, and shooting free throws has been an issue for this team. 64%. Perry under that at 62.5.
And as we mentioned at the beginning of the telecast, not only are they not shooting it well, but they're putting the opponents on the line far more than they're getting to the line. In 7 out of their 8 losses, opponents have shot 64 more free throws.
Guerrero offensive rebound, then blows the layup. Perry gets it. He missed. Kept alive inside. But here comes UConn. Purvis. Rodney Purvis. Nice drive off the wing.
And that's what happens for South Florida. They leave points on the line and provide opportunities for opponents.
Or one point blank look after another. Collins, little fade away in the lane. Boatwright extremely quick. Hamilton, the freshman out of Los Angeles, can't hit his first shot.
Well, that one did everything but go and had fine rotation on it.
Corey Allen Jr. rims out. He's the second leading scorer in the conference, 15-9. And so far, the Bulls are 0 for 6. We played a little over 3.5 minutes. Boatwright distrib guarded by Murillo.
Look at the hard hedge right there by Guerrero. Good recovery as well.
Purvis and a reach-in foul on Collins. Very difficult to make that steal when you reach across the body of the ball handler.
And even when you do get it without making contact, unfortunately, officials may anticipate the contact because it's so rare.
It's almost like they can't believe you actually did it.
I've been victimized by that in the past. A few times.
And never committed a foul trying.
I didn't say that.
No, but it was implied, wasn't it? UConn loses it out of bounds. Very young ball club. Corey Allen Jr., the only senior out there.
Second youngest team with regard to Division I experience in the nation.
Collins with a runner. He averages 8.5 points a game and 6 assists. They really were hurt when he could not play last year because of the carryover of knee surgery. Just never was healthy. Played 8 games, couldn't come back. They kept hoping, and it never happened. He did get a hardship extra year, however, so he's only a junior again.
Again, another hard hedge by Guerrero. UConn can't get the ball back to Brima, though, who was wide open for a period of time as Guerrero stepped out high.
With the shot clock running down, Boatwright had to fire. Both of these teams field goal shooting in the mid-40s. You wouldn't know it from what's going on tonight, though. Foul by Hamilton, his first, the third on UConn. We've got a timeout here at USF.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by the Cree LED bulb, the biggest thing since the light bulb. And in part by the Mazda 3.
Connecticut won a national championship a year ago with this cast. Kevin Ollie is the head coach, of course. Shabazz Napier, the go-to guy. Boatwright was his running man, his partner. This year, Boatwright steps up. He's got to be the guy that comes through. Rodney Purvis, the transfer, will be his backcourt mate.
Well, again, work in progress. Rodney Purvis, the transfer, has to learn the system. And Dan Hamilton, obviously a freshman, is still becoming the player that a lot of people expected him to be, although he's the second leading scorer on this team. So they have the ingredients.
The much more difficult schedule, help or hurt?
I think in the short term, you know, it brings everybody's expectations back into reason. You know, and we take a look at their record, they're 7-5. But in the long term, it just makes you stronger. If it doesn't extinguish your chances, it makes you stronger. And that's kind of what happened to them last year. They got better and better as the season went on, and ultimately went on that 6-game run that got them crowned national champs. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen this year, but certainly it's following the same type of script.
Collins trying to get in the lane, gets caught up. 10 to shoot. Murillo has to dump it back. 5 to shoot. They lose it out of bounds. But last touch by UConn.
See, a team like South Florida has to learn, and we talk about second youngest team with regard to Division I experience. They've got to learn that when the shot clock gets to 10 or under, they've got to get it quicker to their point guard, who's got the ability to break defenses down.
Tough baseline jump shot by Nehemiah Maria.
And Murillo's been relatively consistent, although just 5 of the last 21 attempts from the field until that shot.
Omar Calhoun, number 21, is in for the first time for UConn. There's a follow by Hamilton off the miss. And the freshman has his first bucket.
Yeah, such a skilled offensive player. You know, Hamilton's got a quick jump from the floor. Nice touch from outside.
And Hamilton just picked up his second foul. He's a top 30 recruit, and Kevin Ollie said when he comes in, he needs to be an impact player. So far, he has been as a freshman. Philip Nolan comes in for the first time. Brima will sit. Nolan's minutes throughout his career have been limited by fouls. Just hasn't been able to stay on the court most of the time. Fall away jump shot, no good, but the tip by Bo Ziegler.
And Ziegler's a guy for South Florida who's really starting to come alive. Coming into this game over the last 2, averaging 10 points, 5 rebounds. Averages only 6 points on the season. But he's a freshman that's emerging.
Terrence Samuel, number 3, is in for the Huskies.
And there's the 2-3 zone we spoke of, not necessarily in the Bulls' repertoire, but they're going to play it today because they need to test that UConn ability from beyond the arc.
Samuel short on his 3. They only shoot 31.9% from the floor from 3-point range. It has not been a strength so far. Another runner, another miss, but the follow by Ziegler again. So Anthony Collins missed everything, but Ziegler was right there for his second follow.
And that's a portrait of a young man who's starting to understand how to play. You know, shot doesn't come to him, it doesn't come to his side. So what does he do? He fights for position on the offensive glass, particularly on the weak side.
UConn has been held to 4 points in 7.5 minutes. And this will be a turnover Calhoun lost track of where he was, stepped on the baseline. The third turnover for UConn.
And look at Ziegler right down there on that weak side glass. We talk about how valuable that real estate is. You know, if you can get there and you can hold your position, you're going to get your share of missing.
And some people just have a knack for understanding where the ball is going to go.
Yeah, and as I said, it's also the desire, because people may know where it's going, but you got to put forth the effort to get there.
Perry. He is in so much better shape than he was a year ago. UConn has to take a timeout. USF running away here at home. Connecticut off to a slow start here in Tampa, Florida. They're down 11-4.
Well, we mentioned before, they need to get some inside-out balance, and certainly they need to be able to knock down some threes as they try to stretch the defense. 18% from beyond the arc in their losses, and so far tonight, they're 0 for 4 from beyond the arc.
Purvis, he'll play the point guard on this possession as they try to get Boatwright a screen, and Boatwright feeds it inside, has it knocked away out to UConn.
Well, South Florida's bolted out to a 7-point lead, and the guy setting the tone, Bo Ziegler, 2 for 2 from the field, and some tough offensive rebounding.
Welcome back to Tampa. South Florida with an early lead over UConn, 11-4. Saturday showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy this week on ESPN. Features a Big Ten ACC doubleheader. First at noon, number 22 Ohio State against Indiana. Then at 2, the ACC on ESPN as 5th-ranked Louisville goes up against 18th-ranked North Carolina. ESPN, the home court of college hoops. You mentioned at the top of the telecast, three-point shooting has been a problem for UConn. That problem continues tonight.
It certainly does, and you take a look at the difference between their wins and losses, and it really all comes down to balance. They need to play inside out. They've got advantages, 6'9" in Facey, 7 foot in Brima, but they can't get it inside if they don't balance it with some outside proficiency. And also the inability to rebound offensively. You know, inside out from an offensive rebound gives you some quality three-point looks. And Kevin Ollie mentioned his team just needs to get better quality three-point shots to knock them down.
Got to give USF some credit. Their defense has been really good. Calhoun not even close on a long-range jump shot. That means they're 0 for 5 from beyond the arc.
And that was not a quality shot. Once again, it was a lateral pass. Calhoun couldn't even get his legs into it. Inside out is the best way to knock down shots, the most quality three-pointers you can take. And UConn getting none of it, primarily because South Florida doing an excellent job not only on the glass, but in defending in total.
Calhoun drives. Looked like an offensive foul. No, called for a block.
We take a look at the drive, trying to make it a little bit easier. Bang, bang play. Good call by the official. It was a block. Defenders got to get set. And you can't move into the shooter.
You know, you can say that it's UConn's inability to get the ball inside to set up the poor three-point shooting. But when they've gotten it inside, they haven't succeeded there either.
Yeah, and they've got to be able to find a way to kick it back outside. I mean, that's the problem. You got some sidemen. Right now, Philip Nolan, you know, he's got about 3-4 inches on Chris Perry, but they're not even looking at him. And Facey's in the game as well. He's got an advantage on Ziegler. But the pressure on the perimeter has made it tough for entry passes.
Boatwright trying to change it, gets it out to Calhoun, but he's got to reset. Goes down the lane, drops it off. Kenton Facey with the bucket.
Now, that was something that turned into a good story for UConn. The inside out, the penetration kick. Calhoun couldn't handle it for the open look, but he puts it on the floor, drives, and finds a man on the penetration. Somehow or another, you got to get better, more high percentage looks if you're UConn.
Calhoun's starting to get more and more minutes after he suffered early in the season with a strained MCL. Collins down the lane, under 10 to shoot. Kicks it out for the long jumper from Troy Holston Jr., the freshman from Queens. Boatwright back the other way. Purvis, good first step, got in the lane, kicks it out. Calhoun rims out. Nolan, offensive rebound, working against Perry. Lost it on the way up.
It finally works. Penetration, good look. They can't knock down a jump shot, offensive rebound. They can't put it back.
Perry, left wide open, takes the shot and can't hit it. Boatwright. Oh, nothing falling, is it? And that was a good look. That was as good a look as they've had tonight.
Yeah, this is a veteran team, though. If you're a Huskies, you got to work through it. And the way you work through it is to even tighten up more on the defensive end. But open looks right now for South Florida are coming frequent.
Perry's got that odd-looking release. It's almost shot put. Perry with a rebound off the miss from Nolan. 13-6, USF. Miss kicked out long to Holston.
Well, everything working for South Florida. Their ability to get to the 50-50 balls, ability to create easy looks for themselves, high percentage shots.
Collins, #1 in the conference in assists. Pulls up, takes a jump shot, misses everything. Thought he was fouled.
You know, they're not exactly lighting it up. They're getting good looks. They're not lighting it up, but they're getting just enough to vault them out to this lead. And they get the lead in part because UConn is pretty much putrid from the field.
Well, they've played 11 minutes and 40 seconds and have 6 points. 0 for 7 from three-point range overall. 3 for 14. That would fit your definition, wouldn't it?
I would say so. And again, USF just shooting 33% themselves, but they've gotten just enough to get to this lead.
Boatwright, great move to get into the lane. Contact, no whistle. That one's in and out on the follow by Brima, who's come back in the ball game.
See, I'm not understanding on Boatwright's drive why there was no call. That's got to either be a charge or a block.
Looked like something, didn't it?
Yeah, and it affects the shot. You take a look at it. Off the screen, Boatwright gets in there. Now, you might call it a flop, but the contact made was enough to throw Boatwright and have him hit the deck and created a problem with his shot. You got to blow the whistle. You can't swallow it on that one.
Brima, 71% free throw shooter. Shoots it right off the palm of his hand.
You know, it's interesting because he's got pretty big hands, and sometimes guys with really big hands have trouble with free throws.
Right.
And maybe that's his adjustment by keeping it on the palm of his hand instead of trying to use fingertips.
Well, he's better than 70%, so whatever he is doing is working pretty well. Boatwright. Nice play defensively, got away from Mercurius and gets a layup, and all of a sudden, UConn has cut the lead to 3. Got a timeout, 7:37 to go. First half of play, 13-10, Bulls. Welcome back to Tampa, Florida, where we have a 3-point game, USF against UConn. Corey Allen Jr. back in the ballgame. This is Anthony Collins, the outstanding point guard for the Bulls.
Love this matchup between Ryan Boatwright and Corey Allen Jr. Two seniors going after it. Outstanding scorers.
Shot clock running down. Collins couldn't hit the shot.
That pass into Jaleel Cousins, tough place for him to handle it in a crowd.
Sam Cassell Jr. in for the first time. Crowd wanted to travel. The official said the ball was knocked out of his hand, so it was loose. Cassell started a couple of games early in the year. Perry. Collins on the run, created the contact with Brima and draws the foul. Very smart play by Collins. Timeout on the court, 13-10. We're stuck on 13-10 with 6:36 to go in the ball game. UConn has not shot the ball very well, but from three-point range, they've been terrible.
Well, they've gotten the opportunity off of penetration, good look, just like that one right there. It's just a question of a lack of confidence more than anything else. And the remedy to that is to pretty much stay away from the threes and focus on the higher percentage mid-range and close to the basket shot. Those are the things that give you confidence. And you take a look once again, when they lose, they can't find a bucket from beyond the arc.
18% would be something they'd like so far tonight. And overall, they're shooting under 25% for the ball game. Maybe that's why Kevin Ollie has that quizzical look on his face. .636 to go first half. And really, UConn has shot the ball so poorly. USF really didn't take full advantage of it, only with 13 points so far.
And they've only shot 35% from the field.
Collins misses a free throw.
But before the free throw, look at Collins make up the room with the shot blocker. Brima's trying to take the angle away, and Collins beats him to the spot. And that's what you have to do as shot blockers. You've got to make that contact, close that distance. So they ultimately have to brush you with the body, and they certainly can't get their arms extended to block the shot without creating contact.
Collins 1 out of 2 from the line.
Nice move.
Beautiful drive. Terrence Samuel switches to the left hand and lays it in to cut it to 2.
And those are the kinds of shots now UConn's got to focus on. And they'll make the threes come a lot easier if you start knocking down mid-range and you start getting to the basket more often.
Guerrero has come back in for USF.
You know, you get that shooting percentage up, and it's not heavy on your mind that, oh my goodness, I'm out here behind the arc and we haven't made one yet. You're not thinking about it any longer.
The first one hasn't come easy, though, has it?
It hasn't come at all.
Collins, nice crossover, trying to penetrate, now has to kick it back out. 5 to shoot. Guerrero tries to drive against Bryman, put it in. Ruben Guerrero, the freshman from Spain who played a couple of years of high school ball in Kansas, gets his first 2. That was pretty.
That was an all-conference move by the freshman. Putting it on the floor, extending, using that left off the glass.
He only averages 5.5 points a game, so he hasn't done that very often this year. Samuel into the corner off of Boatwright. And now they're going to say last touch by USF. Crowd didn't like that call.
You see the hard drive by Guerrero. You know, he's capable, though. 13.7 rebounds in their last game against East Carolina. 6 of 7 from the field.
Samuel. Blocked by Brima, went in anyway. Murillo outrunning the court. Very good fast break executed by USF. The lead is 6. Pull-up jumper is good for Rakeem Lubin. both from the lane.
Slowly but surely, UConn closing the gap because they're playing with more aggression.
Sam Cassell Jr. hits the bucket, draws the foul.
And again, we're talking about more aggression on the offensive end. You know, there was no hesitation there, no thinking about the offense. Sam Cassell Jr. averaging about 4 points a game, only shooting, coming into this game, about 27% from the field. But he took that shot as though he was making them all day.
He's out of Baltimore, originally committed to Maryland. Had some problems with his grades, ended up going the JUCO route for 1 year, was a junior college All-American.
And yes, he's the son of Sam Cassell, outstanding guard, Florida State in the NBA, couple of championships with the Houston Rockets, and now an assistant coach for Los Angeles Clippers.
And when he was in Milwaukee, a teammate of Kevin Ollie.
And when I was an agent, he was one of my clients. How's that for 6 degrees of
Way to
separation?
go, yes, sir. Both teams starting to heat up a little bit. Calhoun with a miss. Long tip out to Cassell. Gets it inside, and Brima will follow.
And Mike, do you see a change in UConn's personality
Absolutely.
right now? Instead of hesitation, instead of thinking on every possession down the floor, they seem to be just playing right now. Something that USF began to play. And now they've kind of slowed down a little bit. You can see the wheels turning in their heads, which is not a good thing when you're playing basketball. This is a game of reaction. You think plays ahead, but not the one you're playing.
Corey Allen Jr., the senior from St. Louis, with a pull-up jumper, averages almost 16 points a game. He has 4 tonight. And both teams starting to find the bottom of the bucket. Good defense inside by Murillo.
Lubin got himself in trouble.
Great change of direction by Ziegler.
Tell you what, Bo Ziegler's really been an energetic spark for USF on the offensive glass, running the floor.
He has 6 points inside, and there is Brima. Quickly down court, off balance. Corey Allen Jr. couldn't finish. Would have been better served to bring that back out.
Yeah, UConn dodged one, though. They got to recognize that you can't celebrate. That was an outstanding play by Brima, but you got no time to celebrate. USF coming right back at you.
Purvis cut off the baseline. Good ball movement, and Calhoun able to knock it down. A 3 for the Huskies.
And it was off excellent ball movement, as you mentioned. You got it to a wide open shooter. And as I mentioned before, no hesitation.
So as poorly as UConn has shot and played overall, they're tied in this ball game. And now we'll have a chance to take the lead with 1.5 minutes to go first half. Cassell's given him a spark, hasn't he?
Certainly has. Presence out there on the floor, getting to the free throw line.
Purvis around a Brima screen. Cassell gets a screen, goes down the lane, a little fadeaway, short. Brima offensive rebound.
How important are those offensive rebounds for UConn? That's what we're talking about. Better quality three-point shots coming off the offensive rebound. We mentioned coming into this game, Connecticut, fewest second chance opportunities in the American Conference. You know, they're starting to perk up a little bit on the offensive glass, and that's helped their three-point shooting.
Omar Calhoun with another bucket. Collins with a very risky point-blank bullet pass that Perry couldn't handle. I don't know anybody on earth that was going to catch that.
Well, we got about a 4-second differential shot clock to game clock. UConn holding for their last shot.
Huskies up by 2.
So you can't pick up your dribble under 10 if you're a point guard. Now you got to break them down.
Cassell with a runner in and out. There's the follow, though, from Raheem Lubin. Second chance points for UConn. 14 of the 28. Just what the doctor ordered. Now the clock reads 000, but they have called a foul. Calhoun gets the personal. We have immediate timeout. We will shoot a free throw when they determine how much time should be on the clock.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2015 John R. Wooden Men's Player of the Year Award. And Voya Financial, changing the way you think of retirement.
Don't miss the double dip of NBA action tomorrow night on ESPN. Rockets against the Cavs at 7, then 9:30 Suns and Timberwolves. NBA Wednesday presented by State Farm. They have put 0.4 of a second back on the clock. It was a non-shooting foul, so USF will inbound. Corey Allen Jr. from midcourt and the miss. Coming up on the Land Rover halftime report, top 25. A preview of Oklahoma State and Iowa State and first half analysis. Our halftime score, a 4-point advantage for UConn. We'll return with the Landover halftime report following these messages. Welcome back to Super Tuesday, presented by Cree. It's the American on ESPN from the USF Sundome in Tampa, Florida. 28-24 UConn. Take a look at the numbers after a horrid start. Both teams shooting better than 40%. The three-point shooting not going all that well. UConn's bench really contributed with 14 of the 28 points. And let's go back to what to watch for and what they have done.
Well, the opportunity to create second chance opportunities has been a tremendous opportunity for UConn. You take a look at these numbers right here. 8 offensive rebounds. Remember, they averaged just about 9.6 per game. So they got almost this per game average in one half, and that gave them 14 points, certainly. You know, the ability to take care of the ball. South Florida had done that for most of the game, and, you know, that's why they had the lead for most of that half.
Guerrero goes with the left hand. Twice he has made an offensive move, and twice he scored and looked good doing it.
I think he's sending a message to his teammates. I need more touching. You know, it's a nice little battle. He and Brima about the same size at 7 feet tall. You know, Guerrero listed at 6'11", but he and Brima pretty much stand eye to eye.
This is Purvis. Brima, a little backdoor cut by Boatwright, but Guerrero is there.
And you're watching a young man just playing with confidence right now. A couple of good offensive opportunities for him has translated into a pretty aggressive, heady defense.
Got that bandage over his left eye.
That makes him tough, too.
Well, he took a shot there against East Carolina. Foul on Corey Allen Jr., his second. And a fresh 35 for the Huskies. USF playing the same kind of tight defense they did when they started the game. Now Boatwright goes baseline and gets the jumper.
And the one thing you can count on when Ryan Boatwright, he's going to get to his spot, and then his explosiveness allows him to elevate and find the basket.
He leads the conference in scoring, 17.6 points a ball game.
And that was it, getting to his spot, exploding and rising above the defense.
We've got a timeout. 4 points is the margin here in Tampa. Heisman Trophy winner Marcus Mariota and the Oregon Ducks are after their first national title. They'll go up against Urban Meyer's Buckeyes, eager to cap off a dream season that started with a major upset against Virginia Tech. The national championship presented by AT&T, Monday, 8:30 Eastern, only on ESPN. It's 80s night in Tampa. Didn't know those hats were that big in the 80s, did you?
Which ones?
Any of them. Purvis being more of a point guard in this ball game after the initial 5 or 6 minutes, allowing Boatwright to be the shooting guard, and Hamilton with a runner in the lane.
Boy, no wasted effort, no wasted energy by Daniel Hamilton. Just takes the ball to where he wants to go and then elevates. Kind of the same thing that Ryan Boatwright did.
Corey Allen Jr. down the lane with a runner. Brima's right there to block it. 4 rejections by Amita Brima.
Corey Allen Jr. has got to be cognizant of the fact that the big fella's in the middle. I think he might have been content just getting head and shoulders past Ryan Boatwright and forgot that the eraser was on the end of that pencil.
With him in there, they can afford to be more aggressive defensively.
Absolutely.
Hamilton leaned into that one, spun out, but drew the foul.
He's a freshman, but he doesn't play like a freshman. He's got the instincts of an upperclassman. Daniel Hamilton, a terrific job getting himself once again in the mid-range area in position.
Murillo called for the foul. It was his second. Hamilton will go to the line. Only a 56.5% free throw shooter.
Take a look again, triple threat position, gets himself in the paint, and a nice head fake up and under. I mean, and once again, we see guys making moves like that that are so natural, so instinctive. And for a guy that's a pretty good offensive player to shoot that poorly from the line, it's just a mystery to me.
With a full court pressure, Perry back to help out. Collins almost forced him to take the shot and banged out.
And you're right, he's a pass-first kind of point guard. He looked around, and when he finally realized he had no outlets, he had to take that shot under duress.
Nobody opened except me, and I'm 5 feet from the bucket, so I'm going to take it. Purvis, nice drive.
And there's Rodney Purvis, a guy who can be the running partner of Ryan Boatwright. We talked about the 3 guys this year comparatively to the national champions last year. Purvis is the running buddy, and Daniel Hamilton is that third reliable scorer. And once again, a little head fake gets in past Guerrero, who as a big guy should not be out there reaching. Hold your ground and move your feet.
Orlando Antigua has seen enough and used the timeout to try to stop this run. The margin has grown to 9. ESPN's Journey to the Tourney, presented by Sonic, is a season-long spotlight on games that will impact the tournament. Our journey continues Saturday. Number 5, Louisville. Number 18, North Carolina. ESPN's Journey to the Tourney, Saturday at 2 on ESPN, the home court of college hoops.
Yeah, last night Carolina played a close one and wound up on the short end of it against Notre Dame. They've done a terrific job offensively, as you saw the numbers there, but they've got to be able to stop people.
UConn on a 7-0 run here. Go back to the first half. They have outscored USF 16-2. We said earlier when UConn was struggling that USF might really look at this. The fact that they were only up by 6 or 7 points and could have been up by 15 or 20.
Yeah, they had some open looks. They had some opportunities that they wasted. And right there, they were so focused on getting Corey Allen open off that high screen and roll. Kind of threw their team out of rhythm. And when they couldn't get it because of the good UConn defense, you know, they wound up fumbling it away. Another missed opportunity coming down and not getting a shot.
And USF, not a team that can make up points very easily either with their lack of outside shooting. Boatwright buries one out of the corner, and now it's 38-26, UConn's biggest lead of the ball game.
And now you've got Purvis playing well. You know, you certainly have a bunch of other guys starting to really light up. And we get Ryan Boatwright in the mix.
Purvis picks up a personal. We have a timeout with 15:53 to go. 38-26 Huskies with 15:53 to go in the ball game. Len Elmore, take us inside the play.
Well, this is all about beating the zone rotation. Good ball movement by UConn. Right here, as soon as he turns, Allen's here. He's got to get back here, Guerrero, and then the defender has to get out to the corner. Instead, they hold, and they never do rotate. And the good ball movement gives Ryan Boatwright the opportunity to shoot it. You've got to be able to move in the zone, and everybody has a place, and they got to know when to go and get there quickly.
And that's their most veteran player making that mistake on defense.
Yeah, turning around until and not holding Ryan Boatwright going to the corner until the rotation can catch up was a huge mistake. And they got to be careful of that because Boatwright's starting to heat up.
Perry tries to dump it to Guerrero, through the pass too hard. Guerrero comes up with a loose ball. Shot clock doesn't recycle. 5 on the clock. Perry, offensive rebound, in and out. Brima clears.
Well, UConn, now that they've gotten over, you know, the tough first half where they had trouble in that first 12, 14 minutes of putting the ball in the basket, you know, they're starting to execute with confidence now. And that is amazing. A team that had the fewest second chance opportunities coming into this game has been tremendous on the offensive glass. And it's really all about moving without it. Made a concerted effort to go get it, particularly on the weak side. And you see the blue shirts not only had the weak side covered, certainly had the middle covered, as South Florida now is relegated to just standing around.
Facey got the follow. Perry picked up the foul. And Facey too strong on the free throw. But it's 40-26. Remember, it was 13-6 USF early in this game when UConn couldn't hit anything. And then the wake-up call came. One and done again. Facey with a rebound.
So even a lawyer can do the math. 36-13 run.
Dissing all other lawyers.
That's what a lot of people do, so I'm not. I'm in the minority.
Yeah, but you are one. Going after your own people.
I did it gently.
Any slight is observed.
Boatwright trying to cut Collins off. Gets called for the foul, and that's one area where South Florida has had some success beating UConn off the dribble. The problem is once they beat the first defender, Amita Brima is right there waiting for him.
Facey is out. Omar Calhoun, who had a good first half, is back in.
Brima's got 4 blocks on the night.
Wide open for the three. Collins missed it. There's the foul. Guerrero.
Well, it certainly helped that Bryma went all the way out to the corner to challenge the jump shot. And Collins had free reign. I'm sorry, not Collins. Guerrero had free reign in the middle.
Calhoun. Excuse me, Hamilton wheeled to the bucket and scored. Mercurius, number 34, into the ball game for USF. UConn playing some pretty tough defense. It's been really hard for USF to get a shot. Boatwright, great anticipation, lays it off for Purvis. Boatwright just knew what was coming on that pass and was Johnny on the spot.
Well, take a look. Bryma switches off and stays with Collins. And does Boatwright stand still and watch? No, he steps into the passing lane, picks up Guerrero, who is Bryma's man, and ultimately turns that into an opportunity to get 2 more points. Excellent defense by UConn. You're talking about flipping the switch. The Huskies have gone from relative futility to outstanding execution.
Rodney Purvis out of Raleigh, North Carolina, started his career at North Carolina State. Hits the first, he'll get another. And UConn has assumed complete control of this ballgame. One out of 2 for Purvis.
Talk about how cold UConn was in the first half. They began the game 3 of 15. Since then, they're 15 of 24. Credit the offense.
That'll get it done.
Yeah, and it's the offensive rebounding that gives you confidence on the offensive end.
Corey Allen Jr. with a floater in the lane, got it over Bryma. He has 6.
And it's intelligence to go away from the thing that's not working for you, a.k.a. stay away from the three-point shot and work inside the line. That's really served the Huskies well.
"12 minutes to go in this ball game. Calhoun left alone, and they did a good job of getting him the basketball in position to shoot. 8 points off the bench for Omar Calhoun.
And as quickly as the Bulls reacted in the first half in challenging shots, you know, they've been slow to get to the shooters here in the second half.
Nice three-pointer by Holston. He's shooting only 22% from long range. Just emblematic of the way this team shoots long-range shots. But he buried that one. And they could use a few more. And like most three-point shooters, you hit the first one, and you have the feeling that you can make a few more. Purvis traveled? No, offensive foul first. Foul on Purvis, his second. 10:55 to go in the game. UConn by 13.
Adnan Burke and Seth Greenberg in our college basketball studios updating you what's happening with Ole Miss and Kentucky over on the SEC Network. This is Devin Booker, 3 of 3 from 3. And that's Martavius Newby in a close game, Coach.
I like the mindset of Ole Miss. They're attacking. They're trying to take Kentucky off the dribble and get into the front of the rim.
53-51 Kentucky. Back to Mike Patrick and Len Ellis.
Adnan, thanks so much. And Kentucky tied up in a close ball game. This one was close at one point, but UConn has assumed a 13-point lead.
Mike, going back to those undefeateds, obviously Kentucky being challenged by Ole Miss. We saw Virginia in conference play have to eke one out in double overtime. You know, right now only Duke hasn't been challenged in conference play, but you know, they're going to be playing a couple of tough teams upcoming. Conference play, familiarity breeds contempt. Doesn't matter if you're undefeated or not.
Brima with his 5th block got to the Ziegler shot before it reached its apex, and Hamilton with a beautiful lob to Brima.
Two-man game, and again, the freshman playing with such confidence, such command. Boatwright's taking a beating right now. Finally got called. Chris Perry. On his end, though, Amita Brima playing like you expect Brima to play. Athletic blocking shots, and here, outstanding delivery from Daniel Hamilton. Brima, after the shot block, he really busted it down the floor to get in position. And you talked earlier, Mike, about what Kevin Ollie said, no one plays harder, no one works harder than Amita Brima. That's absolutely an example. And, you know, you got to tip your hat to a young man that works that hard, takes nothing for granted, wants to be better.
Well, he's nearly doubled his rebounding average, nearly tripled his scoring average. He continues to be an outstanding shot blocker as he was a year ago. Hamilton, good awareness that he didn't have the shot, kicks it out. Sam Cassell Jr., 10 on the shot clock. Cassell, tough shot, misses everything.
Forced to take that shot. Shot clock winding down, but somebody has got to get it back to the penetrator, and that would have been Ryan Boatwright. Shot clock under 10.
Perry against Brima. There comes the double team. Now Perry again. Whistle, and Brima called for the foul before the shot. That's 2 on the sophomore who grew up as a soccer player in Ghana.
And Chris Perry, you know, he's a pretty sophisticated offensive player right now. He's did a good job of getting in position, forced Brima to have to push him.
Guerrero checks back in. And Perry will sit for a while with 9:27 to go. Brima will come out at the same time.
What's also puzzling is Ruben Guerrero, 3 of 4 from the field, made some pretty good moves down low, and he doesn't get any more touches. And
no,
you know, you're down, you got to be able to play inside out, and this guy's provided the inside for you.
Either he has not been aggressive enough asking for the ball, or they are not looking for him.
Well, I would say from at least this vantage point, they haven't been looking for him lately. Give him a chance to set up.
No, with the moves he's made in this ballgame, I'd be looking for him. He obviously has some offensive skill.
And right now he's playing against kind of an undersized compared to him, Kenton Facey. Facey's 6'9", but slender as a reed. Not that Guerrero's that broad, but he's a little bit bigger than Facey.
Boatwright and Samuel in the backcourt, along with Cassell. UConn taking a lot of time off the clock on each possession. Boatwright has to dump it in the corner, gets it back with 2 on the shot clock, has to launch and knocks it down. Ryan Boatwright with 10 points, the first man in this game into double digits.
And whenever possible, the shot clock's running down. If you're UConn, you got to get it to Ryan Boatwright. He's your master creator.
He's the guy taking over the role that Shabazz Napier held last year as the go-to guy in the clutch. He's certainly come through. Tough runner by Collins.
Again, excellent job. Anthony Collins has had opportunities to get head and shoulders past his man, get to the basket. Oftentimes, though, thwarted by Amita Brima. Brima's not in. So if I'm Collins, I make more of an effort to try to penetrate.
One thing it's fun to watch Boatwright. He just got an attitude. I mean, he's not the biggest kid there is, and he is just tough.
Well, he's got a big heart.
Yes, sir. That's a travel. Samuel walks with 7:49 to go. UConn still in control, now up by 16.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by the Cree LED bulb, the biggest thing since the light bulb. And in part by Wendy's, proud sponsor of the 2015 John R. Wooden Men's Player of the Year Award.
You are watching Super Tuesday, presented by Cree.
Amita Brima, sophomore shot blocker extraordinaire. We talked about his improvement, his desire. All of that on display today as he is perfect from the field, 3 of 3, with a little help from his teammates. He's done a good job on the glass, 3 offensive rebounds. And, of course, the ability to thwart shots, as I mentioned before, 5 blocks. And that's had a lot to do with poor shooting, particularly here in the second half by USF.
Perhaps the only way back in this ball game for USF is the three-point shot, and that's not their strength.
And you talk about a turnaround offensively. At one point, UConn was 4 of 17 from the field, 23.5%. Since then, they've gone 17 of 26.
Murillo did a good job getting in the lane, but couldn't finish the shot.
The reason why the Huskies have gone on such a hot streak, play much more with a much better purpose. They've forgotten about taking threes and really started to put the pressure on the Bulls inside the arc.
Corey Allen Jr. went all the way to the basket. Guerrero got a hand on the miss, but couldn't hold it.
Yeah, that was the time Guerrero should have just thought about gaining possession and going back up strong, score and possibly draw a foul.
Samuel gets away from his defender. UConn's done a great job of working the shot clock. Once they got a double-digit lead, they have made sure that almost every possession has taken 25, 30 seconds off the clock.
And they've gotten good shots. They've executed, but for the most part, except maybe for a forced shot due to the shot clock winding down, they've done a terrific job getting the right people the ball at the right time.
Corey Allen Jr. with his 3rd personal and a fresh 35 for the Huskies.
And that's the difference between the veteran team like the Huskies and the 2nd youngest team in Division I with regard to Division I basketball experience.
Nice reach in and steal. Murillo. Corey Allen Jr. double teamed and fouled. Foul on Boatwright. That's his 3rd.
Only Tennessee State, if you take a look, surpasses USF.
And that's because 7 players transferred out of this program when Orlando Antigua was named as the head coach. Not all his fault. He said a lot of the people that stayed were the guys, and there were only 3 of them who had played, were guys that were dedicated to the work ethic that he wanted to see with his ball club. Other guys left immediately after the coaching change. Some left later, and some I don't think were missed when they left either.
Well, let's be honest. Most of those guys jumped ship because the opportunity presented itself. The program changed coaches. They were able to transfer, most of them able to play right away. And they left here in a losing program, and they didn't want to be part of a rebuilding program. That was an escape hatch.
Sure.
The guys who stayed, you got to take your hat off to them. You know, guys like Perry Allen Jr., Anthony Collins.
Brima, nice spin, gets the bucket, draws the foul.
You know, those guys exercise some loyalty to the school, not just the coach. And, you know, they're going to learn some. Orlando Antigua is going to turn out to be an outstanding teacher. You know, he's learned from a couple of the best coaches in college basketball, obviously in John Calipari and in Jamie Dixon. And particularly Calipari's got part of a tremendous coaching tree under Larry Brown. I mean,
sure.
You know, through osmosis, you got to learn something.
That's right. 11 points for Amita Brima. And the lead has grown to its biggest point of the evening, 19. There they get it to Guerrero. So I think he lost it on the way up.
Yeah, he had his opportunity on the lob, didn't get close enough to the basket, and then kind of forced that jump hook instead of positioning himself. This is where Guerrero can work on his game and get better against a prime defender like Amita Brima. If his teammates can go at him, he's got to show them that he has the confidence to do some work.
Very mobile on defense. You've seen that on some of the hedges tonight.
Yeah, he's an athlete. There's no question about it. He's just got to learn how to harness that.
3 on the shot clock, and Purvis gets it drive. Just hung on the rim. Purvis still down. Now he's up. And the pass picked by Calhoun.
A good example of Guerrero's athleticism. He beat everybody down the floor after being a part of the help defensively. Teammates couldn't get him the ball. But you continue to do that. As a big fella, you continue to run the floor, beat everybody down the floor, you're going to get your share of points.
Sure.
You know the guy that started all of that, Bill Russell, back in the day. You know, the big lumbering centers couldn't stay with him, and he would sprint down the floor, 3 or 4 easy baskets. Speaking of which.
Nice dish to Kenton Facey.
Timeout. USF.
And we got a timeout with 4:22 left. Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy this week on ESPN features a Big Ten ACC doubleheader. First at noon, number 22 Ohio State takes on Indiana. Then at 2, the ACC on ESPN. 5th ranked Louisville, 18th ranked North Carolina. ESPN, the home court of college hoops. Louisville, of course, was an AAC member a year ago, moves to the ACC and leaves a hole in this conference.
Certainly did. I mean, last year, this conference was extremely top-heavy. Top 5 schools had RPIs approximately 55 or lower. And then the bottom half were in triple digits. It may be kind of the same in this conference this year with fewer teams at the top. You got no teams ranked in the American Conference right now. And it's going to be more difficult to get your RPI in a great position playing against teams that are similar to yours. But I guarantee you this, the teams that get in the tournament, you know, whether it's UConn, Cincinnati, could be Temple, Memphis, those teams, they can beat somebody.
Yeah, they'll have a shot. We kept telling everybody last year, the last 6 weeks of the season, that UConn had a shot because they had great guard play. And obviously they took advantage of that.
And we love it because it's TV. We can document that.
Yeah, we can go back and say, hey, these guys have a shot. You better watch out for UConn. But nobody remembers when you get it right, do they? Corey Allen Jr. with 7 points, looking for 8.
Speaking of defensive jobs, how about the defensive job on Corey Allen? You know, we talked about he and Collins able to beat some of the guards off the dribble. But when they did, obviously Brima was there to thwart the action, and then obviously tightening up on the perimeter. And Allen has been frustrated throughout the evening.
Got a timeout, our chance to go to the studio and Adnan Virk. Adnan.
Mike, thank you so much. Just want to give you an update on what's happening and brewing at Rupp Arena. Ole Miss and Kentucky on the SEC Network. This is Trey Lyles, but the undefeated Wildcats are in a slugfest right now with Ole Miss. A 2-point game with just under 8 minutes to go. And just a reminder, we're about 25 minutes away from George Niang. Oklahoma State taking on Iowa State. Great college basketball on ESPN and ESPN 2. We're back after this.
UConn with a lead 56-37. They have outscored USF 28-13 in the second half, thanks to 61% shooting from the floor. And they are well on their way to 8 wins in 13 tries. Corey Allen Jr. with a floater.
And that's what makes him so tough. Not only that quickness, but deft touch once he gets in the paint. Just hasn't had enough of those, as the UConn defense has pretty much swarmed him. He's 4 of 11 from the field right now.
Terrence Samuel will work at the point a little bit here. Some pretty good ball handlers on this club. Gives them some flexibility when you've got 3 guys who can work at the point.
Absolutely. And the idea, though, is the ball handlers are able to go where they want to go. And that's one of the key elements in offensive basketball. Be able to get the ball where you need to get it and go where you want to go.
Purvis.
That was supposed to be a pass to Bryma, and Guerrero snuffed it out.
Corey Allen Jr. again tries to put it up with the right hand. Can't hit the shot, draws the foul. Second on Facey.
Down 17, Corey Allen Jr., still putting forth the effort.
Monday, the national championship game, Oregon, Ohio State. Buckeyes working with a 3rd-string quarterback who has proven to be a sensational talent. Not many people can get away with playing a 3rd-string quarterback, let alone getting to a national championship with one.
Well, you definitely tip your hat to Urban Meyer and his staff, man, for putting that young man in a position to succeed. You give him a lot of credit as well, obviously.
Boatwright kicks it out. Purvis wide open for a 3. Corey Allen Jr. with a rebound as we approach the 2-minute mark. Bryma got a piece of that one. 6 blocks for Amita Bryma.
And that's been the story of the evening right now, particularly for Corey Allen Jr. and to a certain extent Anthony Collins, the 2 South Florida guards. They've been able to beat them men off the dribble, but who's standing in their way between them and the basket? Amita Bryma.
Three-pointer. Mercurius had the wide open look, knocks it down. He came into this game shooting 16.7% from long range, but probably didn't have that many uncontested looks as that one. Purvis had a shot, passed on it after the bobble. Hamilton, nice lob to Bryma. The second time he's been able to penetrate. One of the questions about Hamilton this year, would he be able to handle the ball? Because he didn't do much of that in high school. He looked good tonight.
Well, that's what we mentioned before about guys who can handle the ball. They go where they want to go. They get their teammates in position because they have to be honored when they penetrate. And Daniel Hamilton just knows what to do with it when he gets it.
Holston missed his 3. Foul on Mercurius. Hamilton will go to the line. A top 30 recruit who can play virtually any position on this club. And we talked about versatility before. Bodway checks in for the first time.
But I think he's very happy playing with 3 and some 2. If he plays in some of the power positions, obviously He might be able to do it for short stretches of time, but you know, he's an athlete, a perimeter player.
Mercurius can't hit the shot. Samuel with a rebound. The shot clock is off, and Boatwright will try to dribble it out. So UConn is going to go to 8-5, 1-1 in the conference, while the Bulls fall to 7-9 as they try to rebuild their program here in Tampa.
So give Connecticut a lot of credit. You know, they dug themselves a deep hole early, but it wasn't deep enough, as South Florida never really able to capitalize. And then the Huskies turned it on, playing basketball the way Kevin Ollie would like to see him play.
They were down 13-6 and not shooting the ball well, not handling it well, not playing good defense either. The final, UConn 58, USF 44. Coming up next here on ESPN2, Super Tuesday presented by Cree continues. Oklahoma State and Iowa State. But first, back to the studio, add Dan Burke.